Poco. Yeah, that's probably as good a one as any, sure. This is sort of, like the vibe like it is living in Poco. The little downtown core of Poco is the same as it's been since I was last lived there when I was 6, and it's really very similar still, which I find kind of neat that there's a little downtown and the city hall is there and they decorate the town for Christmas and all that. So it's just kind of a cool place to live. I mean, it's got its rough edges, but it doesn't bother me. That's just sort of like an easy sort of hopefully swinging tune that is fun to play over, progression that's fun to play over, like it is living in Poco, you know? This band recorded an album about 20 years ago, live at the Cellar, and the idea was to sort of revisit the project and do another album.
Sequels are always cool. They're always it's a great reunion, it's really interesting to see how everyone matures and how everyone changes.
This band recorded 18 years ago live at the Cellar Jazz Club in Vancouver. It kind of involved a who's who of Vancouver jazz. Brad Turrner, of course. Seamus Blake, arguably one of the most successful musicians internationally to come out of Vancouver. It was out on Maximum Jazz. So there were a lot of things about that record that remained with me for all these years, and I just thought it would be a really good idea to get the guys back 18 years later and do it all again.
The connections go back even further than that record. So, I mean, with Brad, I think we first started playing in maybe, I don't know, like 91 or something, 90 or 91, and with Dylan even before that.
Seamus and I played in a band previous to that. He was in a group called Fifth Avenue, with me, which was the quintet.
And we were playing together in the really earliest formative years, so.
As a young musician growing up in Vancouver, I think I was in my second year of college, and at that time, I mean, Brad was everybody's hero. I mean, Brad had got back from North Texas and was teaching up at CAP, and we were in his big bands at school. I mean, Brad was really one of the guys, and he was the guy that you wanted to impress. He's the guy that you wanted to know, and he's the guy that you aspired to be and to play with.
Writing for Seamus, like there are certain things that I love that is part of his musical language, and trying to see if I can't incorporate my take on those things in some of these tunes, so it might ring a bell with him when he's playing.
Brad is a very accomplished musician. He has a deep sense of harmony and rhythm, and he's a great composer. He's been composing for a long time, so the music kind of came together pretty quickly, but there's there's meat on the bones to chew on, so I feel like we could play these tunes for a while and still find new things.
This band recorded live at the Cellar Jazz Club in Vancouver. And what I remember specifically about that evening is that the club was packed. Such incredible music, and that band had really done some incredible stuff.
Yeah, we've had some really amazing moments through the years. We got to play with Joe Lovano, which was maybe a high point, definitely right up there. And we've played here, there, and everywhere. and just sort of kept it together. I do have a few a few memories. We hadn't rehearsed that much. I think after we did that gig, we did a CBC Jazz Beat recording. But that night, I do remember Seamus was reading a lot of the music, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, I remember it. That one was a live record, so it felt more like just a gig. But it was a lot of fun.
We recorded it, but I wasn't sure, it wasn't a done deal that we were going to release it. I just wanted to listen and see how it went, and I thought it went really well. And it was a really fun night, and there were lots of people there, and Seamus sounded amazing, so we ended up putting it out.
The quartet had put out several CDs. To add Seamus to that mix was just fantastic, and it was a real culmination of great Vancouver jazz, sort of, documented for everybody to hear for a lifetime. Unfortunately, that record's hard to find now.
We get to play with Seamus sort of here and there, and he's a long-time colleague and friend, and so coming back together and we've been playing and developing as musicians through the years, and sort of taking stock of where we are now as opposed to where we were then, and just the musical differences that I notice, and it's just really neat that way. That's exciting, and also to be able to still do it 20 years later. So yeah, it's nice to be in the studio. I mean, we thought it would be a good idea to record the live nights too, so we've got all 3 of those. So 6 sets of this music. I just had a feeling that the playing was going to be really good, and it would be a shame to let it all just sort of go off into space.
The energy of the club and the energy of the audience maybe helps the playing from a playing standpoint, but sonically, I mean, you can't compare it to like a really nice studio.
Brad and Seamus, who are 2 of the most exciting musicians on their instruments, you get a real sense of excitement when they play. They really go for it. They don't, because it's a studio, they're not holding back. They're actually pushing ahead and trying to reach for more. And what you're listening to is an incredible documentation of a wonderful band with a special guest that can just walk in and sound like he's been part of the band for 18 years.